Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Happy Saturday morning. Hope you're well. We are well. I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I talk about how I've lost 97.4 pounds since starting the ketogenic protocol, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, regain control of your life like I did. Grandmother clock is chiming in the background, so it must be time to talk about keto. Today's topic is, it's a personal question. Did I ever cheat? Well, let me tell you about that. First of all, let me refresh your memory if you do not know, or maybe you've never heard it before. The ketogenic protocol, as I learned it and as I have practiced it since January 8th, 2014, so 8.5 years ago, keep your carbohydrate intake to 20 grams a day, total grams or fewer. So 20 total grams of carbohydrate a day or fewer. If it's not on page 4, link below, don't eat it. You don't even need a food list though, so don't get verklempt. Just eat fatty sources of protein, limited amounts of non-starchy vegetables, and limited amounts of full-fat dairy. And you don't need the vegetables, and you don't need the dairy. Eat fatty sources of protein. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. And I've added another piece. Be patient. So that's it. You can see that there's no mention of time of day eating or grams of fat or grams of protein. And although calories count, we don't have to count them if we follow the other instructions. Don't eat if you're not hungry. It kind of takes care of itself. There's nothing about percentages of anything. None of that. Keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day, total, not net. Eat fatty sources of protein. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. So, did I ever cheat? I don't like that word cheat. It's actually, it's two things at once. It's too harsh and it's too cute, right? Harsh, cheat, are you in the jailhouse because you cheated on your taxes or did something else and you're a cheat and so you ended up arrested? Okay, that's cheating. Are you in divorce court because you cheated? That's cheating. Are you in the principal's office because you got caught stealing answers from someone else's algebra test? That's cheating. So cheat is a little harsh, but at the same time, it's too cute. Oh, I had a cheat meal. I'm just going to have a cheat day. I deserve it. Even, I think Wendy's has had a commercial, come to us for your cheat meal. Maybe 2. Cute, huh? It's not cute. And cheat, I don't believe is the right word. By the way, can you guys see and hear me? I forgot to ask. It's always one of those things. I never know. It's not a cheat. It's not a moral failing. It's not, you're not breaking one of the 10 commandments or whatever your belief system is. It's a choice to eat food that doesn't serve you well. That's what it is. It's a choice. You make a decision to eat food that probably, somewhere in your brain or heart or soul does not serve you well, and you will regret eating. There's a saying, when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to regret not having spent more time at the office. Well, when you are taking your insulin injections, you're not going to regret, maybe, not having that extra bag of pretzels. These are food choices, food decisions. So let's just take it for what it is. And if you decide to do that, that's fine. You're an adult. But don't try to be cute about it. First of all, there is a body of thought out there. People, I don't know where they come up with this stuff. You should have a cheat meal or a cheat day once every now and again to shock your system. Please tell me where the logic in that is. If I am someone for whom carbohydrate intake results in increased glucose and so increased insulin, and results in inflammation and mood dysregulation and joint pain. Why would I want to shock my system back into that? You can shock your system by taking a steak knife and sticking it into your thigh. There's a shock to your system. Is it going to help you burn fat for fuel? Will shocking your system help you burn fat for fuel? No, it's not what you do put in your mouth. It's what you don't put in your mouth, namely carbs. So, did I ever, I'm going to use the word cheat because it is the accepted part of the lexicon when it comes to nutrition. No, not this time. Not this go round. For those of you who know my story, I knew since 1977 that low carb, and it was the Atkins Diet Revolution. I got the book. Actually asked one of my brothers to drop it off for me at my dorm because I didn't have a car. So he dropped one off with me in a brown paper bag, left it at the front desk. I got it, and he put a little note on it. Here you go, but really, just eat more. Eat less, move more. I put on about 13 pounds my first couple of years of college. So I did the induction portion, lost the 13 pounds, tossed the book. Now, I didn't decide to, air quotes, cheat. I just was young and I was in a different stage of life and I didn't have much weight to lose and I was active and I was cute and I was living a wonderful college life. I didn't really need to be that thing. Keep in mind, things like type 2 diabetes and blood pressure and metabolic syndrome are chronic diseases. They build over time. They don't start the first time you eat a Snickers bar. So it's all fun and games when you're in your 20s, eating what you want, being overweight if you want, being morbidly obese if you want. Things get different when you're 35, 45, 55, 65, 75. You don't see that many morbidly obese 85-year-olds. Anywho, then again in the early 2000s, I said, I'm going to try this again. By now, I had put on quite a bit of weight. I was 115 and a half pounds heavier than now. And I'm 5'1", so that's a lot of weight. So, okay, I'm going to try the low carb. And I did it for a bit. And I was rolling along. I was just doing the induction period of Atkins. That's what it was. That's what keto is. The induction period of Atkins. Very low carbohydrate intake. And I lost some weight. And then I used the excuse, and I'm not going to say explanation, the excuse that many of us have used. Then life happened. Well, please tell me when life does not happen. My life happening at that point happened to be the second of 3 cancer diagnoses. The first diagnosis was when I was young and pregnant with our third child. That was dramatic. And then several years later, another diagnosis. And then I didn't know it at the time, but a few more years later, I would have yet another diagnosis of cancer, have to be treated all those times for that. So life happened. So what did I do? I decided, I'm going to have a bagel because life happened and I deserve it. Well, so I self-medicated with bagels, which led to tortilla chips, which led to tequila, which led to an immediate regain of all the weight. And guess what? I still had cancer. So that life happens thing, sorry, I'm calling BS on that. I've used that excuse. It's an excuse. Show me the day on the calendar where life didn't happen. That's the day you die. That's when life stops happening for you. At least this present life. We don't know about the afterlife. But that's not really cheating. That was making an excuse. So after all that happened, there were more times that I said, I'm going to stick my big toe in. I've got to do something. So I would start out on Monday. Okay, I'm not going to eat carbs because I knew it worked. And Thursday would roll around and it was pizza night. So I would lie to myself, try to fool myself into thinking, well, I'll just get a thin crust pizza. That'll be okay. And that would be, so Monday I'm okay, Tuesday I'm all right, Wednesday I'm kind of shaky, Thursday I order pizza. And then it would all disappear because it would lead to more. And then it would be another 6 weeks before I would try again. And I would walk around in a carb coma half the time. I mean, I was functioning, of course, but you know what I'm talking about. You've been there. So I did that, tried, failed, gave up. I gave up on losing weight. I told myself I'm clearly someone who cannot give up carbohydrate. I'm clearly not that it didn't work, that I was someone who couldn't do it. I would say out loud to myself, I can't go the rest of my life without eating tortilla chips. So I gave up. Then I didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes. I was sitting at my kitchen counter, right opposite where I'm standing right now. Got off the phone with one of my siblings who said, "You're not going to believe this. I just got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And what I couldn't believe is that it took so long." I wanted to say, have you not met our family? Have you not attended the funerals? So I knew I was next. I knew that was the next doctor's visit. Insulin for type 2 diabetes, blood pressure meds, all that stuff. So I Googled how to not take insulin for type 2 diabetes. I coped with the cancer. I didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes. How to not take insulin for type 2 diabetes. I came across the white coat video of Dr. Eric Westman of Duke University, who I'm happy to say and fortunate to say is now a friend and a colleague. I was never a patient of his, but it was a very direct message. Keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day, total not net. If it's not on page 4, don't eat it. He says eat when you're hungry. I say don't eat if you're not hungry. At least that's what the white coat video said. So I just decided next time I eat, I'm laying off the carbs. Because my motivation was I didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes. And I don't want to spend the next 25, 30, 35, 40 years of my life feeling so badly about myself emotionally, mentally, and physically. That was it. That was my line in the sand. For some people, it's a jean size or not being able to get on an airline without a seatbelt extender or having your tummy hit the steering wheel when you drive or a number on the scale or being heavier than everybody else in the room. Whatever the line in the sand is. Hopefully you don't have to get there before you make a change. Mine was I didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes. So did I ever, air quotes, cheat? No, never. Why have I been so successful? People ask me, because I followed the protocol. I had someone tell me just a couple of weeks ago that they were told by their medical provider, their doctor, this person had lost like 40 pounds. Well, what are you doing? Oh, I'm following the ketogenic diet. Oh, well, you know, the thing about keto is it works until it stops working. Well, it works until you stop doing it. Ergo, a cheat, a so-called cheat, a decision to eat carbs. For some people, having a bite of something or a slice of something or what, they could do it and walk away for another 6 months and be fine. In truth, most people who bother listening to my voice are not that person. For many, many, many people, it's I'll have this. There's a story of one of my patrons who shares. She was very transparent. She lost 65 pounds, decided to have a virtual movie night with her friends, girlfriends, got a small thing of caramel popcorn, 50-pound increase later. It doesn't work until it stops working. It works until we stop doing it. That would be like saying, the thing about giving up smoking is it works until it stops working. Okay. It works until you start smoking again. The thing about Alcoholics Anonymous is it works until it stops working. It works until you have a shot of tequila or whatever. Did I cheat? No. Have I been very successful? Yes. Is it because I'm a special person? No. It's because I followed the protocol. The protocol doesn't say do this and then once a week or once a month or during the holidays, eat carbs. Sucks to be us that carbs don't agree with us. You know, one of my patrons makes the, joke, I'm allergic to carbs. When I eat them, I break out in fat. Yeah. That's about it. If you're allergic to strawberries, You don't say, well, I'm going to give up strawberries, but I'm going to have one cheat meal of strawberry shortcake. Well, then your throat closes up and you break out in hives. Where's the logic? So for me, did I, air quotes, did I deviate from the protocol? No. Do I sometimes eat when I'm not hungry? Yes. Do I sometimes have more of whatever I'm eating than I probably really need? It happens. I'm weight stable. I've been weight stable for now just about 6 years. So my weight fluctuation, it fluctuates almost every day. Up or down, up or down. It's like this. It's not like this. So it's not a huge deal. But I haven't gone back to carbs. I'm not going to go back to carbs. I did not make choices that were illogical and did not serve me well. What else do I not do? I do not hold my hand over the open flame burner of my gas cooktop. No, that is a decision that would not serve me well. I just don't do that. I don't hit my head against a wall on purpose. That would be a decision that would not serve me well. So, did I ever cheat? Do I ever intend to reintroduce carbs? No. I don't need them. They're not essential. Why would I do it? I also don't intend to start eating cotton balls. Why would I? There's no nutrition. That'd be weird. I don't need grains. I don't need nuts. I don't need fruit. The nutrition is in the fatty sources of protein. That's where the power is. So there you go. Answer to the question. Did I ever cheat? Not this time. I did before. I didn't consider it a cheat. When I did it, I'd say, oh, I'm going to have a cheat meal. No, I just make crappy decisions. I'll get the thin crust pizza. Of course, then I would eat the entire thin crust pizza because it's thin crust. It's like eating SnackWells where they're fat-free and you eat the entire package. And that would lead to more until the next time I started, and I'd make it a couple of days, and then I would make a crappy decision. So I am now going to shameless commerce division. First of all, hashtag Casey's pink drink. I'm asked about it every time, which is why I bring it up every time. Glass full of ice, diet tonic water, a splash of diet cranberry, and a squeeze of lime. With a tip of the hat to the Car Talk guys, shameless commerce division. You don't have to buy one thing to be 100% successful at this protocol. Not one thing, not a food kit, not a pill, not a powder, not a meal plan. I will sell you mugs and t-shirts all day long. Just trying to earn my keep. Steel water bottle, which is actually quite good. I mean, it's like a 20-ounce steel water bottle. And a mug that says, lay off the carbs, lay off the excuses, a whole bunch of other mugs. This t-shirt, I actually had to tell myself, I'm stronger than a cookie. I couldn't fit, I'm stronger than tortilla chips. So I put, I'm stronger than a cookie. You can get that at my Teespring shop. And at my blog, a couple of little pieces of swag, which I don't think I'll get again, is a 12-month record book with spiral bound. You can write in it and all that stuff at my blog. And then pop sockets, which you put on the back of your phone. Okay. I do want to thank patrons, some of whom I know are here. I have a private support group at patreon.com, link below, where depending on your pledge level, you get 20 pre-recorded video snippets every morning from me, suggestions made by patrons. Up from there, a handful of patron-only live streams on Crowdcast. I'm actually having one at 10 o'clock this morning, so right after this. Up from there, a handful of patron-only video group sessions on Zoom, and up from there, monthly one-on-ones with me. And, I didn't bring them over. About every quarter, I send out cards that I design. Hopefully, they're attractive and inspirational, and I write a note on the back of each one. So those go to certain patrons. Okay, done. Let me turn my attention to comments, and I'm just going to jump on in. Okay, someone's saying, B. Gray's writing. Okay, that went past me. Judy Porterfield, Sharon Wild. Oh, dear, going very quickly. Okay. Sue W., love my journey. No, okay, I'm going to have to stop. I'm so excited that you guys are talking so much. Beth Howard, I haven't deviated once since January 27th, 2020, down 85 pounds, Why would I cheat myself from living my best life? And I've seen Beth in person, and the photographs from before, unbelievable. Shelby Ann writes, I find the afternoon the worst time. Probably habit. I eat lots in the morning and lunch, but will start to grab something before supper. I don't know how people do, and I don't even believe in that silliness that you just wrote, IF. Why would you do, what would you do with habit eating? Okay, well, a habit was created by doing something repetitively. It can be broken by not doing it repetitively. I've changed much of my eating habits. So is my lovely mate, who never had a weight issue. He does this for health. But his eating habits have changed because our nutrition requirements are so fulfilled by so much less food. If you're in the habit, okay, I don't have them anymore. They're sold out. I have a magnet. Are you here out of habit or out of hunger? And it's a picture of a refrigerator. Because very many times, I've found myself standing in front of the fridge and I say, why am I here? I'm not hungry. This is a habit. So that's how you do it. And that whole IF thing, I think it's a silly phrase. I think it's a misuse of that F word. And if you just, okay, look at me right now. I'm effing. Why? Because I'm not eating. Gandhi fasted, okay? Skipping breakfast, that's not that so much. Besides, many people did that for generations and were scolded. You don't feel like eating first thing upon rising. Oh, you must. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Quote, Dr. Kellogg. Edward McGowan has a wonderful story. I know myself too well. Not even for my daughter's wedding did I have a piece of cake. 3.5 years and have not cheated myself with a, quote, cheat day. Edward has a wonderful story. Andrea L. I have a friend that said, you only live once, so why not have what you want? I told her, I want to have a long, healthier life. And I find meat makes me healthy and happy, right? What would your friend say the same thing to a person with alcohol abuse syndrome? You only live once. Drink up. Very often, there are people that will do that, even with alcohol, because that's what they want to do. And they don't want to have a spotlight, they think, shown on them by passing on the alcohol or passing on the bread basket. Some people feel like, oh, wow, Casey's not eating that. That must make me look like a big, PIG hog. Judy writes, yes, whenever everyone's having, quote, dessert, I grab a water and munch on my keto-friendly snacks I brought. And that's great. And to take it a step further, Judy, who needs dessert? Who made that rule up? The dessert manufacturers. In France, the after meal thing is cheese. It's not, death by chocolate cake or pie a la mode. Magic Mia's trailer park garden. Biggest issue, stop eating when full. It's the finish all your food issue. And a lot of people have that. Be a member of the Clean Plate Food Club. There are starving people somewhere where, well, if I eat it, those starving people still aren't going to get it. If I throw it away, they're not going to get it. So that's kind of a specious argument. Let me tell you something, Magic Mia's Trailer Park Garden. One of the best things I can suggest for that is, and there's a physiological reason, eat slowly. Put your utensils down between mouthfuls. Why? Because there is a hormone called leptin, which signals our brain that we've had enough food. It's not, and it won't tell us we're stuffed. It's going to say you've had enough. Satiety. But it takes a while for that signal to get to the brain. And sadly, in our culture, a lot of us are eating over the sink or behind the steering wheel or on the run or just in front of the television set, just shoveling it in. And we've eaten the entire plate of fuel before the signal gets there. It's one of the best things we can do. And here's a trick or a tool. So here's your portion of whatever it is. Divide it in half, put it aside. You can come back to it later. Take that half portion that you think you need, half of what you served that you thought you needed. Eat slowly and and wait about 10 minutes and see if you're like, you know what? No, I'm good. I don't need the other half. It's amazing. That's a pro tip right there. Would anyone like to share their particular story or victory? I do like to do that, and I've forgotten to do it the last couple of times. It doesn't have to be a scale victory. Non-scale victories are even better. Shelby Ann writes, so many things ingrained into us that make it hard not to, air quote, cheat. As a kid, we had to eat breakfast, had dessert every day, snacks after school. Yeah, those are habits that, think about 100 years ago. That's not the way it was. Think about when it was an agricultural society. Well, you're out working in the fields for 8 hours a day. You might sit under a tree and have some hard tackle or some jerky and a roll and some water. But you didn't sit down and you didn't have snacks. My goodness, that used to be kind of a treat. And now there are vending machines in schools and hospital lobbies. Egg fire. There are McDonald's kiosks in hospitals. We've gotten off the rails here, guys. But what we have to do is realize that just because we grew up this way, or just because someone gave us this advice, or this is the way it's, ultimately it's I don't care. I no longer care how I was taught. It was wrong. It was not ill-intentioned. My parents were not trying to make me fat and unhappy. They were following bad advice. But ultimately say, okay, that was then, this is now, let that stuff go. As a matter of fact, I wish I had my cards. That's what the card is that I'm sending out to patrons. The future is our only option. The past is of little use unless we learn from it. Letting go is an art and a gift. And then on the back, I handwrite, we need to let that go. Because we do. Okay, yeah. But I'm in control of my food choices. Nobody gets a vote on what I eat. Not my doctor and my husband, although he supports what I do. Not my kids, although they support what I do. Not my circle of friends. Not the food manufacturers. Not the food pyramid people. Nobody gets a vote on what I eat. Because are they going to be paying my medical bills or taking my insulin for me? No. Sue W. writes, my doctor actually gave me a hug because this was the healthiest she had ever seen me. That's fantastic. Andrea L. I do have a hard time eating slow, and it's slowly, it's an adverb. I grew up in a military household. I think that portioning out food works, as I have to think about getting a second or third portion. Okay, so again, habits were built, habits can be broken. Magic Mia's trailer park garden. Yes, I'm sure that would help with the reflux. Thank you, Casey. I've lost 20 pounds so far. Yay! Shelby, and let that stuff go. Although I didn't write stuff. But I didn't write out the full word either because some people, potty mouth. So I made a little asterisk where the I would go. Mini Pearl 105, out walking and listening in. Thank you, Ladewell. Thank you. Judy Porterfield writes, my GERD is totally gone since being keto. I've had it for 30 years. Did you used to take medication for it, Judy? And you know what I got to say about that, Judy? That is sardines. Judy is a patron. And on some of our patron-only Crowdcast live streams, someone will say, this happened to me. This was a good thing. And Judy wrote, wow, that's sardines. Okay, that's sardines. And her predictive text, for some reason, turns awesome into sardines. So now it's a saying that we've got. Sardines. Okay, Nikki Burcham writes, my doctor shot this way of eating down, said it was bad for my high cholesterol. I'm bound and determined on showing her otherwise. She is a move more, eat less believer. She needs to refresh her education. Judy, Kim Hoover writes, dump my fasting app now, eat when hungry. Who needs an app for fasting? You know what that's called? I mean, if you're going to do time restricted eating, it's called a watch. But you don't even need that. Eat when you're good for you. Eat when hungry. Don't eat if you're not hungry, no matter what the clock reads. Judy writes, I took meds for years and had to elevate my bed, etc. It was horrible for the GERD. Ashley Workman, non-scale victories. Powered through a stress eating moment yesterday at work. Found my carpal tunnel brace this morning in the sock basket and realized I haven't needed it in almost 2 years since keto. Oh, I do want to share something, by the way. They're back to in-person events, 2 of which so far I am involved with. The Durham support group meeting with Dr. Eric Westman and me, but that will be live streamed if you can't get there, but it's in the Durham Hilton near Duke. You can, if you're not on Facebook, I put it as an event on my Facebook, Go Keto with Casey page. You can go to my blog, because not everyone's on Facebook, and I admire that. I'll go to my blog under my calendar. It smells like it's burning. RSVP for that so I can let the hotel know how many people. There's a buffet. You don't have to buy it, but it's there. And then that's always the first Tuesday of the month, the second Monday of every month, a Go Keto with Casey meetup in Greensboro at Wine Styles. Also, you can see that on my blog, RSVP, so I can let Kumar know how many will be coming. Andrea L. started March 2021, down 80 pounds, went from a size 20 to a 10. Nikki Berkshire writes, actually, she's old school about the cholesterol. She needs to read a book or listen to anybody. I mean, it's not even good science anymore. Never was good science. Now it's known as bad science. Thank you. I am going to sign off. I appreciate everyone allowing me to be part of your Saturday. Patrons, if you're here, I will see you and you join in. I will see you on the patron only live stream at 10 a.m. Eastern on Crowdcast. Thank you so much. Sharon Wild, my vitamin D has been very low, insufficient range, and actually went up to low. That's the first time improvement for me. Yay! This is so great. Let's not call it a cute word like CHEAT. Let's not treat it like it's a crime, CHEAT. Own it for what it is. If you decide to eat food that doesn't serve you well, own that decision and deal with the consequences. But let's not think it's cute. And let's not think it's helpful, because it's not. I don't need another shock to my system, baby. My body's had enough shocks in my life. Thank you, Judy. No cheats. Sardines. Bye. See you next time. God willing and the creek don't rise.